Hello students, I hope that you all are fine. Uh, Now we have already discussed in the last live class about the properties of pure substances and mixtures as well as their classification. We have already also discussed about the differences between the homogeneous mixtures, heterogeneous mixtures, uh, elements, compounds, as well as a difference between pure substance and mixtures. Now, in this part, we'll discuss about the solutions and its concentration. Now, we have already teaching about solutions and the different types of solutions in live class. Now, we'll discuss about properly in this video presentation. Now, what is basically a solution? Now, when the two or more chemically non-reactive substances are just mixed together, they form a mixture. And this mixture is actually a homogeneous mixture because this is actually uniform throughout the bulk. So we can say that the solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more components. The dissolving agent is the solvent and the substance which is dissolved is the solute. Now there are two parts present in the solution. First one is the solute and the second one is the solvent. Now the amount which is present in less, that will be the solute, and the amount present in much more amount, that will be the solvent. Now if we just take one example there, if we add 250 gram of sugar in 100 gram of water, then it should be sugar should be a solvent. But here is the mass of the sugar is much more, but the amount of sugar is less because weight of sugar is much more compared to water. That's why amount will be less. 250 gram of sugar will be less amount compared to the 100 gram of water. That's why water is here solvent and 250 gram sugar is actually solute. And the physical state of the solutions depends on the nature of solvent. If the solvent is liquid, then the solution will be liquid. If the solvent is solid, then the solution will be solid. So it will directly depend on the nature or physical state of solvent. Now in this class we'll discuss about the solutions containing only one solute and one solvent. So we'll discuss about only binary solution. Now again one question will come, how can we say that solution is homogeneous? For example, if we take sugar solutions, that is we mixed a little amount of sugar in a one glass of water, we'll observe that the taste of this sweetness is maintained thoroughly. The uniform taste will be maintained uniformly. So we can say that the taste is, as the taste is uniform, this is a homogeneous solution. So properly you can say that solution is a homogeneous. Now let's see the examples of solution. Lemonade is an example of solutions where lemons will be added in water. So lemon juice is mixed with water and both solute and solvent is actually in liquid medium and the solution is liquid. Soda water, in soda water basically uh, carbon dioxide is added in water. So gaseous substance is here, gas is actually solute and water is solvent. So soda water, the nature is liquid. Now let's discuss about the different types of solutions having different states of solute and solvent. First we'll take the example of solid in liquid solution. That means here solute is solid and solvent is liquid. Now the example is solution of sugar in water. So basically here sugar is solid and water is actually liquid. So sugar solution is an example of solid in liquid solution. Another example if we take that iodine is a solid substance. Whenever iron is added in alcohol, it is soluble and alcohol is here solvent. So solution of iodine in alcohol, which is known as tincture of iodine, that is also a example of solid in liquid solution. Next is solid in solid solution. Now the example will be alloys. Alloy is a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals and non-metals, or two metals or two non-metals. We can take either one metal and one non-metal for alloy, making of alloy, and another two metals together form a alloy, or two non-metals form a alloy. For example, brass. Brass is made up of copper and zinc. Both copper and zinc are metal and both are solid. So this is the example of solid in solutions. Now, in case of brass, the amount of zinc is less. So that will be the solute, and amount of copper will be around 80%, and that will be the solvent. Next is gas in liquid solutions. Now you always like to drink soft drinks. Now the soft drinks actually are aerated drinks because it contains gas in water. I mean gas in different kind of liquid solutions. So here basically carbon dioxide gas is actually soluble in sweet water. So that actually form this soft drinks. Now you see that whenever you open the container, open the cork of this thumbs up bottle, open it container, then you will see that there is a hiss sound. One hiss sound is coming out from it. So that is basically the sound of carbon dioxide is coming out with pressure. So that's why it makes a sound. So that is because it is actually with pressure the gas is soluble there. The more number of gas carbon dioxide is soluble in water, and whenever this pressure is released, the gas comes out from this liquid solution. So that's why these hiss sounds come. Next is gas in gas solutions. The best example is the air. Air is the solution of many gases such as hydrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen. Mainly nitrogen present in 70% and oxygen present in 21%. So all these are homogeneous mixture. Now let's see the general properties of solution. The first property, the solution is a homogeneous mixture. We have understood properly this point. The second point is that the particles of the solutions are so small that they cannot be seen by naked eyes. For example, if you take sugar solution, the sugar cannot be, if it dissolves completely in water, the sugar, then sugars cannot be visible through naked eyes because the particle size is very less. You have studied already in the first chapter that whenever sugar solution is formed, the sugar particles of the sugar goes into the vacant space in between this water. So that's why they are cannot be observed through naked eyes. Next point is that they do not scatter a beam of light passing through a solution. The path of the light is not visible in a solution. Basically, this property is known as Tyndall effect. We study about in colloidal particles, but they actually does. What is the colloidal means Tyndall effect? In the Tyndall effect, is whenever light passes through any particles, it will always scatter. So whenever there is scattering occurs, this is known as a Tyndall effect. But in case of solutions, this scattering is not occurred. So that's why you can say that this is a type of a solution. Next point is the solute particles cannot be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration. Now you know that there is a one separation process from if we can separate different kind of mixtures through filtration process. Now solid particles, as the solid particles goes into the vacant space and they are completely dissolved, so they cannot be separated through the simple process of filtration. Another point we can say that solution is always stable. So you cannot see the solid particles is actually uh, settled down inside it. So it will be stable always. Next point is saturated and unsaturated solution. Now, saturated solutions, when solutions cannot dissolve more solute at a given temperature, the point is called saturation point of the solution. And the solution is called saturated solution. This means that no more solute can be dissolved in this type of solution. So saturated solution means if you add maximum amount of solute in the solutions, up to that point it is dissolving. But after if you add more amount of solute in it, it will not dissolve. So up to that point, it's maximum soluble. It is known as saturated solutions. And what will the unsaturated solutions? The solution in which more solute can be dissolved at a given temperature is known as unsaturated solution. At any particular temperature, solutions that has dissolved as much solute as it is capable of dissolving is said to be a saturated solution, and the amount of solute present in the saturated solutions at this temperature is called its solubility. If the amount of solute contained in a solution is less than that the saturation level, then it is called an unsaturated solution. Now, what is the difference between saturated and unsaturated solutions? So, in case saturated solutions, maximum amount of solute can be is dissolved. In case of unsaturated solutions, it is not maximum amount of solute will be dissolved. Now, saturated solutions, if we uh, increase the temperature, saturated solutions become unsaturated solutions. And in case of unsaturated solutions, if you decrease the temperature, the unsaturated solutions become saturated solutions. And the third point, you can say that in case of saturated solutions, more solute cannot be dissolved. But in case of unsaturated solutions, more solute can be dissolved. Now, there is another type of solutions which is known as supersaturated solutions. If we add solute more than the saturated solutions, then it is actually formed supersaturated solutions, where the extra amount of solute present in undissolved form, that it will be present in solid form, in their own form, in this liquid solution. So basically, in supersaturated solutions, the phases are two types of phases are there, because liquid is also present and some portions of solid will be present and settle down under it. So in case of supersaturated solutions, some solute will be undissolved because the maximum solubility point is actually reached. So after that, we are adding these solute particles, and that form the supersaturated solution. Now, if you just see that unsaturated solution, the color will be less, it is light colored. In case of saturated solution, it is dark color. But in case of supersaturated solutions, it will be more dark color because more amount of solute is present. Now, the term concentration is most often used when we talk about the solutions. Actually, concentration of solutions implies the amount of solute present in a given mass or in a given volume of a solvent. So usually, concentration of solution is defined as the amount of solute present in a given amount, mass or volume of solutions or solvent. Now, to find out this concentration terms, you have to add the fixed amount. The amount will be known, the known amount of solute as well as known amount of solvent. If you add known amount of solute in known amount of solvent, then you can easily find out the concentration of this solution. Now, from this part, the mathematical problems will be always come in exam. The 3 marks problems will be come in exam. So we have to know about the ways of expressing this concentration of solutions. There are basically two types of expressing this concentration term. One will be the mass by mass percent of solutions, and another will be the mass by volume percent of solutions, and other will be the volume by volume percentage of a solution. Now, what is the mass by mass percentage of solutions? That is the mass of solute divided by mass of solutions into 100. If you're finding the percentage, that means you have to multiply with 100 always. So both of these, in this case, both of these solute and solutions will be in gram weight. So mass is here, both of these cases. So that's why it is mass by mass percentage. Now, in case of mass by volume percentage, mass of the solute will be taken, but volume of solutions will be there into 100 percentage. So that's why here mass by volume. So that's why it is mass by volume percentage. Another term will be there, volume by volume percentage of the solution. There will be volume of solute will be taken divided by volume of solutions into 100. In that case, we have to take liquid in liquid solution. So both of these solute and solvent will be liquid. For example, lemonade. We add lemon juices in water. So both of these will be liquid solutions. So in that case, volume of solute divided by volume of solutions into 100, and you will get that volume by volume percentage of solution. Let's see some problems regarding it. A solution contains 20 gram of common salt in 250 gram of water. So here 20 gram of common salt is the amount of solute, that is mass of solute, and mass of solvent water is 250 gram. Calculate the concentration in terms of mass by mass percentage of the solution. Now, mass of solute is 20 gram, mass of solvent is 250 gram. So we have to find out, you have to say that the problem is mass by mass percentage. So what is the formula? Mass of solute divided by mass of solutions, not mass of solvent, mass of solutions. So how can you find out the mass of solutions? If you add mass of solute plus mass of solvent, you will get easily this mass of solutions. So into 100, you will get that mass by mass percentage. Now, mass of solution is 20 gram plus 250 gram is equal to 270 gram. So mass percentage of the solutions will be mass of solute divided by mass of solutions into 100. That will be 20 divided by 270 into 100, and will get that percentage 7.4%. So the concentration of the solutions is 7.4%, and that will be your answer. If you write down in this way properly, you will get 3 marks. Now let's see another problem. What is the concentration in percent mass by volume of 150 ml of solutions containing 30 gram of solute? So here mass of solute is 30 gram and the volume of solution is 150 ml. It's already given volume of solutions. So the mass by volume percentage of solution will be mass of solute divided by volume of solutions into 100. That will be 30 divided by 150 into 100, and that will be 20%. So concentration of the solutions will be 20%, and that will be your answer. Now we will solve more and more number of problems in the live classes so that the terms concentration of the solutions will be easy for you, and you will do these problems easily. But for this, doing this problem, you have to remember the formula, 3 formulas only: mass by mass percentage, mass by volume percentage, and volume by volume percentage. If you know this formula properly, you can easily apply this to solve the numerical problem. Uh, this will stop the here only. You just read about these parts and write down in your notebook or whatever is written in this video presentations. You have to write down. I've given also the PDF form with it, and you have to write down everything in your class notebook copy. Thank you.